Himari Kino lies in bed, ignoring her morning alarm. However, her cat Maruta licks her awake. She's startled at the idea she might be late for school, but sighs with relief, knowing she'd woken up just on time. Although, she's still a little tired. She gets dressed for her first day of school, waving goodbye to her cat. Arriving at the grand-looking school, she stares in amazement. It's so big and fancy. Her friend Miki arrives to meet her. Himari is so happy that they've been going to the same school together since elementary, and they've been in the same class now for 4 years straight. Miki mentions the opening ceremony has a music band performance, and her sister is playing in it, so she wants Himari to sit in the front row with her. We go backstage where the band is mentally preparing themselves. However, their stand-in singer/guitarist, Yori Asanagi, is incredibly nervous. She's unsure of what to do. It's as if her heart is pounding out of her chest. She's so anxious, she begins to regret agreeing to substitute. Singing on her own, she's normally fine, but the thought of being in front of a crowd leaves her hands trembling. The stage curtains open, and as Yori begins to sing, Himari stares as if her mind has been taken away. Himari feels like she can hear the singer's voice echoing in her head. With Yori's image being the apple of her eye, Himari thinks she's so cool. When the performance finishes with the crowd applauding, Miki has to bring Himari back to earth. She's excited to ask Himari what she thought of her sister's bass guitar performance, but as we know it, Himari was lost, only locked on to the singer. She claims she fell in love at first sight. The singer, who was so cool. The singer, who was so pretty. Himari kept going on about her, even after school. We then turn to the band doing a cheers to their performance. Miki's sister, Aki, even teases Yori, saying her singing was the bomb. She offers Yori a place as a full-fledged band member, despite how insanely nervous she was. The drummer, Mari, wonders how Aki even convinced Yori to sub in, to which Aki ecstatically shows off the cute kitty pouch she bribed Yori with. However, Yori defends herself, saying it's a limited edition, so she had to have it. Mari then offers even rarer cat merch for Yori's singing talent, showing off her rich girl powers. Kaori, their pianist, heard that Yori does composition, so now they want her to write them a love song. This gets Yori super nervous. She can't write love songs because she's never even fallen in love. So Mari commands her to go fall for someone. Walking on her way out, Yori draws a blank, just thinking about how to write a love song. She's never fallen in love or had anyone fall for her, until Himari screams, complimenting Yori on her performance. This makes Yori nervous, modestly saying she made a bunch of mistakes and her singing isn't even that great. But to Himari, that's not true at all. She just plainly says to Yori that this made her fall in love at first sight. Oh my gosh, so bold. Yori looks at Himari's bright smile, wondering if she heard her right. She just got confessed to, and even better, she finds Himari adorable, especially that smile of hers. With Himari running off in excitement, Yori watches, stunned at how love has found her. The next day, her bandmates are shocked to hear a first year fell in love with her. Although, Mari wasn't expecting this to be the emergency Yori was talking about in their group text. Aki asks how Yori feels about her little suitor. This makes Yori blush, and she meekly admits she might be in love with Himari. But now, they need Yori to give a reply, like, I love you too, or let's go out. All sorts of things that Yori finds super embarrassing. We move to lunchtime with Himari and Miki, where of course, the former can't stop thinking about Yori. Himari jolts in excitement, explaining how she met the vocalist girl by the shoe cubbies yesterday. She comments on how Yori is super cool and super tall, although it might be that Himari is just short. Luckily for her, Miki got all the details on Yori from her older sister. Yori is in class 3A, not in any clubs, born on November 26th, and blood type A. Why does that matter? Himari is shocked that Yori isn't in any clubs, considering Miki's sister Aki is at least in the light music club. Well, turns out they took in Yori because the band's original guitar vocalist quit at the last minute. Miki then adds that Yori likes to sing on the roof after school, so Himari's gotta be there. After school, Yori sits exhausted after reading from Aki that the band is expecting a full report on her love prospects. That girl is all Yori could think about all day. Wondering if she told Himari she loved her too, would she get to see that smile again? She pulls out her guitar to try to clear her mind and hopefully write a love song, all while Himari heads to the roof, yearning to hear more and more of that beautiful voice. Yori loves singing to herself. She doesn't sing to be heard. She just likes singing. On her own, she can sing however she wants. But for Himari, she might reconsider. Then, at Himari shrieking from finding her, Yori gets startled. Yori wonders how Himari found her here, but that doesn't matter. She was hoping to see Himari again. Even through her nerves, Yori confesses she fell in love at first sight too. There, she said it. She was scared at first, but this is good. The feeling's mutual, so Himari is sure to be thrilled. What? You mean you fell in love with singing at first sight and that's why you joined the band, Yori? Himari was excited that they're both love at first sight buddies, because she'd love to join a band if she was good at singing too. All this left Yori somewhat agape. She realized now that Himari wasn't in love with her. She was truly embarrassed to find out Himari is just a huge fan of the music. She's flustered out of her mind that she misread the situation so badly. However, as Himari introduces herself, Yori is lost, thinking, God, that smile is cute. Yori then quickly composes herself, asking if Himari just came all the way up here to hear her sing, to which Himari just as quickly replies she'd come up here every day to listen. Yori is taken aback hearing this, but no. She realizes Himari doesn't mean that in a romantic way. She's fine with it though, telling Himari she's gonna make her fall even harder for her. The next day at school, Himari is so excited to share yesterday's rooftop experience, but is stunned to be suddenly greeted by Yori. Himari is super excited, and although Yori is definitely crushing, she tries to play off the interaction super cool, saying she'll see Himari on the rooftop later. Yori spills the details to Aki, but she already knew Himari liked her as a fan since her sister told her. Now Yori feels as if she can't come on too strong, but wants Himari to also see her as someone cool she can rely on. However, her bandmates continue to relentlessly tease her, with Mari offering a luxury cruise liner for the two when Yori finally asks Himari out. After school, Yori walks up the steps, just thinking about how seeing Himari will put her on cloud 9, but she wasn't expecting to see Himari waiting for her. Himari had apparently already been there for 20 minutes, as she bolted to the roof right after class was over. She wanted to see Yori as soon as possible. All this sweetness is too much for Yori, however, because she can barely handle it. But instead of a musical session, it actually became a Himari yapping session. She got a little carried away talking about her day, but Yori didn't mind at all. And seeing Yori smile, Himari became speechless because it was so pretty. Even though it was late now, she pleads with Yori to sing just one song for her. This made Yori flustered, but she did it anyway, all while reflecting on how this all came about through a misunderstanding. As Himari continued to watch the pleasant performance, Yori just kept thinking her feelings weren't going away anytime soon. Afterwards, Yori was able to breathe a sigh of relief that she finished. She's certain with her nerves, she must have missed a few notes here and there, going a little off tune. However, Himari claimed the performance as beautiful. Yori looked so cool it took her breath away. She knows she asked for one song, but now she wants another. Yori needs Himari to stop complimenting her, or else she's gonna break from the sweetness. But Himari doesn't want to. She loves Yori singing so much. Himari then asks if Yori is going to keep singing in the band, but learns Yori doesn't want to. She doesn't like singing in public, although she did promise to write a love song for them, something that Himari is excited to hear. Reflexively, Yori pats Himari's head, saying in that case, she'll reconsider playing in the band, leaving Himari completely flushed. But she didn't mind that Yori did that. Himari then goes to grab her backpack so they can walk home together, and while she's away, Yori stares at the hand she used to pat, wondering what she's even doing. And I'm wondering what you're even doing if you haven't liked this video and subscribed to my channel. Come on, I've got so many fun shoujo stories to share with you. And sometimes it's not shoujo, but hey, I promise it's always fun. So hit that subscribe and give me a like. The next day at school, it's raining hard. The rain makes Himari feel gross and exhausted. But even worse now, she wonders what she's gonna do after school. Himari sneaks over to classroom 3A, but she can't find Yori. Oh man, if she doesn't find her now, she might not see her after school either. Aki spots her, and then flags Yori, who is surprised to see her crush. Himari explains with the rain today, She wasn't sure about their after-school plans, so Yori invites her to classroom 3A anytime it's raining. Aki then begins the teasing, saying, "Look at you two, chumming it up come rain or shine." Himari then responds earnestly that seeing Yori is the highlight of her day, definitely making Yori's heart explode. After Himari says her goodbyes to head back to class, Aki tells Yori it's clear Himari is down bad for her. She thinks Yori's read on the situation initially was a lot closer than she thinks now, but the embarrassed Yori thinks there's no way. After school, Himari arrives at Yori's classroom, nervous just like that day she was entering the rooftop. Finding Yori's desk, she notices Yori's cat-themed pencil case, learning Yori absolutely adores cats. So, Himari brings up her cat at home, showing Yori her cute cat pictures, and seeing a picture of Himari with her cat, Yori says, "cute," out loud. But she's not talking about the cat, if you catch what I mean. The two continue talking about different types of cats, which I have no idea about. I'm more of a dog guy. But anyway, all Yori can think about is how talking with Himari makes time fly. She wonders if Himari always looks this happy, or if it's just when they're together. Himari then asks Yori if she has any plans this Sunday, and invites Yori to a cat goods pop-up shop by the train station. The invitation catches Yori off guard, knowing this would be their first time hanging on a day off from school, but she agrees to it. That night, Yori laid in bed just thinking about the plans she made with Himari. She's going back and forth in her head in disbelief at how this is happening, worried she's misinterpreting things again. She then suddenly gets a text from Himari that reads, "I hope you're having a nice evening. I can't wait for our date on Sunday." The words date make Yori flip over on her pillow. Wait, hold on. Is Himari actually in love with her? Yori tries to figure out how she should reply to the message, and with Himari seeing a simple, "looking forward to it," she thinks Yori is so cool. Later, Yori attempts to write the love song for the band, until she suddenly gets a call from Aki. Aki teases Yori about her crush as per usual, and invites Yori to go shopping for new clothes with her, but Yori can't because of her date with Himari, and she drops Aki's call right after. Meeting at the station, Yori is at a loss for words over Himari's cute outfit, and Himari gushes just as much back at her. As they walk together, Yori thinks about how happy she is, and if they really started dating, she'd get to enjoy moments like these all the time. Himari's stomach starts rumbling, so it's time to eat. The two enjoy pasta, Himari's favorite kind of food. She then offers Yori some of her dish, and now seeing Himari wants to feed her makes Yori blush. Hold on. Be strong, Yori. What would a cool, reliable upperclassman do in this situation? Yori takes a bite, calmly saying, "It's delicious," but we can clearly see her face is red. Afterwards, the two arrive at Kitty Fest, and it seems to be swarmed with people. Looking around only for a second, Yori realizes she already lost Himari. Himari went to the back because she's not used to crowds yet, so Yori offers her hand. That way, they don't get split up. With Yori taking the lead, they get a basket full of cat-themed merchandise. Himari picks out a set of matching cat-themed phone straps, something the two could share together, making Yori lose it, like we'd expect. Taking it from Himari's hand, Himari gets startled because she was gonna pay for them. However, Yori wants to get it for her as a present. Sitting on a bench, the two enjoy their matching phone straps. With joy exuding from Himari, Yori begins to understand why people get so fired up picking out presents for the people they love. The two then enjoy other activities in the area, such as getting boba, clothes shopping, checking out cute cats, and checking out a music shop. Himari is surprised to learn Yori doesn't actually come to music shops often, and she doesn't actually know much about guitars, but her dad is really into them. Yo, this is crazy that Yori's dad is the first mention of a guy existing in this show. But anyways, Yori's dad already knew she could sing, so he was the one who suggested she learn to play the guitar next. Himari gets lost looking at the guitars, and wonders if this blue one was the same kind Yori used at the opening ceremony. We learn it's not quite the same model, but she does indeed own a blue guitar. Looking at the guitar takes Himari back to that day. She knows Yori said she was done with the band, but she really wants to see Yori play with them again. Yori would rather continue her solo performances on the rooftop, and Himari thinks of them as special since it's just the two of them. When they're alone, Yori's voice is pretty and gentle, However, Himari thinks of Yori's band performance as snazzy and cool. She knows it's a selfish desire, but she wants both sides of Yori. Yori is taken aback by this, feeling it's weird, but somehow, Himari's request makes her want to give it another shot. Yeah. If someone I liked asked me to do something, I might just do it. I know what it is. While the two head out for the evening, Yori gets a little sad because she wanted to spend more time with Himari. She wants to hold hands with Himari and stare at her forever. She wants Himari to look back at her. At the station, Himari exclaims she had a blast today. Yori replies, "Yeah, me too, because, I really like you." So naturally, Himari replies, "Yeah, I love you too, Yori," but more in a friendly way. Yori then says, imagine how happy she'd be if they were actually dating. And friendly-like once again, Himari tells Yori being her girlfriend would be great, since they could go on rooftop dates every day, which causes Yori's fist to tighten. With Himari's train coming, she's got to head out, but Yori suddenly stops her to tell Himari she's serious about going out with her. Yori then apologizes for being so abrupt, but tells Himari to think about it as she walks away, and Himari shudders while holding her grabbed arm. Elsewhere, the bandmates speculate on how Yori's date is going. Mari questions if love at first sight even really exists, to which Aki seriously mentions it does, thinking of her first time meeting Yori on the rooftop, having her breath taken away. Ooh, things are getting spicy. In the bath, Himari thinks about what Yori had said, and now realizes all those other things Yori had said on the rooftop were heartfelt feelings. But Himari has no idea what to do about this. Himari's love is certainly different from what Yori feels. She doesn't even know what that kind of love is. It made sense to Himari when she said she loved everyone as a kid, until one day, her best friend confessed that she was in love with a boy. However, when Himari said she loved the same boy too, she almost gave her friend a heart attack, as Himari had to say that she just liked that same boy only as a friend. At some point, everyone started finding a different kind of love than she did. Rereading Yori's texts, Himari reflected on the fact that she never felt that kind of love before, but all of a sudden, that love appeared right in front of her. She had no idea what to do. At school, Miki had to bring Himari back to Earth during volleyball class. She's spacing out again. She's been doing it all day, and for some reason, won't open up on how her date went with Yori, even though she was so psyched up before. Hearing Yori's name gave Himari a somewhat somber look. As she explained, Yori had confessed to her. It shocked Miki enough to shout, and Himari had to cover her mouth. It was such a big plot twist for Himari. She pinched her cheeks a full 300 times apparently. Miki asked if Himari was going to date her, but Himari was unsure. Then, with the teacher calling them to get back to class, Miki told her they'd talk more after school. During Yori's math class, instead of solving graphs using y equals mx plus b, she was more fixated on why Himari wouldn't text her back. Ooh, that was good. The opposite of Yori's heart that was breaking. After classes, Miki learned that Yori confessed and then left. Since then, Himari hadn't gotten a chance to talk to her yet. However, clutching her shoulder, Himari still had no idea what she wanted to do. She loves Yori, but also admits she loves Miki too. She doesn't know what the difference is and has never been involved romantically before. So Miki tries to help Himari understand, asking Himari if she's ever thought she wanted to make Yori hers, like in ways of hugging and kissing. But the thought only makes Himari shudder, with still a lack of sureness. Miki then mentions that there are plenty of people who decide to give dating a shot, even if they don't love the other person, making Himari put her head down at the thought, since the concept never crossed her mind before. Miki then talks about a boyfriend she had gone out with back in middle school that she liked. However, they still ended up breaking up. Having gotten over it since then, she assured Himari that there's no one right answer to her problem. She shouldn't let herself get hung up on the idea that she needs to go out with Yori if she loves her, and if she isn't in love, she definitely shouldn't. With the advice, Himari regains her usual glimmer, now determined to give another option some thought. In class 3, Mari is trying to bring Yori out of her slump for band practice. Aki tries offering a smooch, but only gets ignored. Yori then suddenly gets up, saying she's heading to the roof, with all of her bandmates worried about her. Reaching the top, she figured Himari wouldn't be there. She never got a text back. Yori wondered why she was freaking out like this, despite being the one who asked Himari to think about things. She wondered why she left before giving Himari a chance to reply. Yori spent every minute since then getting crushed under the weight of her hopes of getting to date Himari, and fearing what'll happen if she gets turned down. It's hard for her to even feel like singing right now. Then, her phone vibrates, with a surprising message from Himari. She's asking for more time since she'd never been in this situation before. But once she's made up her mind, she promises to come straight to the roof to tell Yori. She really wants to think things over before giving her reply, especially because she can't wait to hear Yori singing again. Breathing a deep sigh, Yori found herself such a mess. Only getting a message, she felt so happy she could die. Squeezing the cat phone strap, she knows their feelings might not be mutual, but she can tell Himari is giving a lot of thought into this. She just hopes Himari comes soon. Heading to the exit, Yori was surprised to see Aki still at school. Getting a little too close, Aki tells her she wants to walk home with her beloved Yori is all. As they walked, Aki tries to make small talk about cats to try to cheer Yori up, but this has almost no effect. Yori stops to tell Aki that she asked Himari out, and she's happily waiting for her answer. Even though Aki must feel some type of way hearing this, she decides to take Yori out for frappes. At the Kino residence in the evening, Himari thinks about how she spent all this time thinking about how to reply to Yori. Still unable to understand romantic love, she remembered the date was really fun. Maybe she should go out with Yori. But if she did, what if she never ended up falling in love with Yori? If they broke up because of that, would their relationship be completely ruined? Should she turn her down? Oh, but she doesn't want to hurt Yori's feelings. It's been 4 whole days since they've seen each other, and Himari still can't make up her mind. Himari then decided to head downstairs to get some sweets to help her think. But she overheard her mother talking lovingly towards her father, who's been busy on a business trip. Seeing Himari suddenly, her mother was startled. However, this didn't stop her mother from expressing that she loved her husband a whole lot. Mrs. Kino assured her daughter that she'd find a wonderful someone someday. But that might make Himari's father jealous that someone would be stealing her away. Himari then asked how her parents started dating, so her mother sat her down for hot cocoa. Her mother explained that back in their first year of high school, Himari's father asked her out. But they didn't start going out until the summer of their 3rd year. They were good friends, but in the beginning, Mrs. Kino didn't particularly love him, so she turned him down. He was persistent though, and he kept pursuing. She was concerned that if their relationship didn't work out, things would have become awkward between them. Exactly what Himari was worried about. But then, during the summer of their 3rd year, Himari's mother and father went to a festival together. That was where her mother realized she really loved him, and they've been lovey-dovey ever since then. Himari thanked her mother and ran to her room, now more certain of what she was going to do. Tomorrow, she's going to tell Yori how she honestly feels at the moment. At school, Himari and Yori attended classes, anxious for their after-school meeting. With classes over, Himari rushed to the rooftop, bracing herself before opening the door. With Yori turning back towards her, Himari apologized for making her wait. The two sat down together, where Himari admitted to loving Yori, but not in a romantic way, only making Yori depressed. However, Himari had more to clarify. The thing is, she really doesn't understand what romantic love is, so she wants to spend more time with Yori, and if she ever starts feeling that kind of love for her, they can... Yori stops her, interjecting with, "What you're saying is, you're giving me a chance, right?" However, Himari starts to cry, feeling like she's not in a position to give anyone anything. She knows she's being selfish. She really does love Yori, but if they start going out and she ended up hurting her feelings, she'd feel terrible. Yori then wiped her tears, telling Himari everything's fine, thinking Himari's earnesty is what she loves about her most. Yori felt scared after asking her out. She was terrified Himari would reject her and everything they had together would fall apart, so she's happy Himari gave her such a forward-thinking answer. This brightened Himari up. She was so happy Yori saw it that way. However, the hug got Yori feeling some kind of way, and with that, Himari got permission to keep seeing Yori after school the same way she had been. and Yori was still determined to make Himari fall hard for her. Back at Yori's place, she hugged her cat pillow, having no idea it was possible to feel this happy. She thought back to Himari saying if she ever fell in love with her, they could finally start dating. Yori wants Himari to fall for her, but wonders how. What can she do? But the answer was obvious all along. In the light music club room, the bandmates are trying to figure out their next song to perform, and they still need an official vocalist. They suddenly hear a knock on the door, and Yori officially asks to join their band, leaving everyone stun-locked. Yori sat with the band, and they were surprised to hear Himari would go out with her if she could make Himari fall in love. Although, Aki understandably didn't seem too happy. She told them that sounds messed up, as if Himari is trying to keep her options open. Yori disagreed, replying Himari isn't that kind of person, and regardless, she's gonna try her hardest to play in the band, so Aki welcomed her in. On the school rooftop, Himari was excited to hear Yori actually join the band officially. There is one catch, however, that being Yori has to practice 2 to 3 times a week, so she won't be able to meet Himari after school on those days, which makes Himari both happy and sad. Yori had the solution though. The two could just have lunch together on the days she's got practice, and this makes Himari excited. Himari then asks why Yori decided to join the band. Yori answered that even though the reason is somewhat embarrassing, she was just trying to think of what she could do to make her fall in love with her. If Yori sang in the band that Himari loved, maybe that'd work. She then apologized, thinking she might be coming off super creepy or desperate. Himari tells her not to be. She was about to say she loved Yori for doing this, but she cut herself off, saying she looked up to Yori for doing this instead. She hopes one day she can find the same love Yori has for her at the end of all this. Yori's eyes widened inside the studio room. The group had their practice session. However, Yori was a bit off, so Aki told her to listen and use eye contact to make sure she matched their rhythm. After practice, Kaori mentioned that Aki seemed particularly happy, maybe because Yori was there. Aki then cuddled up to Yori, saying she loved her to bits, and Yori responded she herself might feel the same way, causing Aki to get flustered. But Yori just meant she loved playing with all of them. She thought it was weird. She used to hate playing in front of people. Practicing had always felt like a giant drag, but when she started really trying to match their rhythm, it made her want to keep playing with them to make better music. Kaori gave Yori a big hug for her sweet words. Mari then mentioned their current priority is practicing for the Light Music Club concert. It's an event at the end of the month where a bunch of alums come to play, and they're doing a performance there. After that, there's the cultural festival in September, with Yori promising to use all that time to better match their rhythm and practice her phrasing. Aki shouts they should celebrate with a meal. On their way, Aki asks how the song Yori's been writing is coming along. Turns out she has the melody and just needs to rework the lyrics. At school, Himari is depressed because it's apparently another no Yori day. She was fine having nothing to do back in middle school, but now having spent so much time with Yori, she has no idea how to use her free time. Miki suggests Himari join a club. However, Himari thinks there's no point, since she still has plans with Yori on some days. So maybe she just needs a club that only meets twice a week. Himari wanders the halls after school a little disheartened. She tried the computer club, but she found it to be too complicated. Then the anime club, but she barely knew anything about anime. Painting was also something she was never good at. She kinda expected this, but it felt too late to get her foot in the door anywhere. She then smelt something really nice and spotted the cooking club. Inside, she was seen by Satomiya, who was excited to finally have someone join her club. She immediately had Himari try some cookies she made, and they're really good apparently. Satomiya then pointed out the different flavors such as royal milk tea and pistachio. Looking at Himari, Satomiya found this experience to be pretty novel to hear. With there technically being 3 total members of the club, the other 2 never really showed up. She's so lonely all the time. With Himari looking for a club that only meets twice a week, Satomiya was perfectly fine with it. So this may be exactly what Himari was searching for. Now Himari will be able to make and eat tons of delicious treats, and also share them with friends, something Satomiya really finds enjoyable. Himari then imagines Yori eating one of her treats. and wonders if she'd enjoy them. Satomiya immediately picked up Himari had someone on her mind, shocking Himari. And with that, Himari joined the club officially. On a rainy day, Yori sat wondering if Himari was coming soon. Between practice and the weekend, it's been 4 days since they'd really spent any time together. She'd like to be able to talk to Himari on the phone at night, but it'd be too awkward to call her if she didn't have a specific reason. Himari then suddenly appeared, scaring Yori into screaming. Himari had something to tell her though, which made Yori think she was going to give her real reply. But of course, it was just that Himari had joined a club. She had Yori think of what club she joined, and Yori was fixated on the idea that she'd look good in any club. So Himari just answered that she joined the cooking club. However, when Himari explained that there was only now 2 people who showed up for the club, Yori became jealous and hurt hearing about Satomiya. She hated this so much. Even though Himari clearly had intentions to make sweets to share with Yori, Yori only spaced out with the most horrific outcomes in mind, even putting on a fake smile to make Himari not worry. At band practice, Yori's bandmates noticed she seemed a bit off, so afterwards, Aki tried to figure out what was wrong over frappes. Yori was embarrassed that Aki could tell something was wrong, but when Yori tried to play it off, Aki flicked her head, telling her to come out with it. Yori then opened up about Himari meeting another upperclassman in a club. Yori felt so pathetic for being jealous. However, Aki confirmed that's just how love is. Yori felt down because of the days she couldn't see Himari, and the weird distance she felt ever since she asked Himari out. So now she gets these scary thoughts all the time. She couldn't help but wonder what she was going to do if Himari fell for someone else. She went all in on her concert plan, knowing things would be out of her hands until then, but it's killed her on the inside, feeling scared and not able to do anything about it. Aki then patted her head and told her, "Chin up, everything's going to be fine. There isn't a girl around who can hold a candle to you." She encouraged Yori, telling her they were gonna work hard and kill it at the concert. And this actually cheered Yori up. In the cooking club, Himari and Satomiya finished baking banana bread, gushing over the delicious taste. Himari wasn't the greatest prepper. However, Satomiya was totally fine with it. Afterwards, her friend Shiho showed up, ready for a bite of Satomiya's bread. And after eating it, she said it was delicious. With Shiho being one of the other cooking club members, Satomiya asked her to come bake with her and Himari sometime. However, Shiho wasn't so confident in her cooking skills, and the only reason she joined was because she didn't ever have to attend club. She just wanted to spend time practicing her music. That night, Himari went over to Miki's place, and she brought the banana pound cake. She was a little scared to have Yori eat it, and wanted Miki's opinion first. Miki then suddenly got a call from her club members and had to step away. But bad timing, Aki came home, face to face with her love rival. Aki then admitted she was actually in love with Yori. This made Himari nervous, as Aki told Himari to let her have Yori. In Himari's mind at this moment, she hoped that she would eventually fall in love with Yori. She figured she had plenty of time to find her answer. She didn't think there was any reason to rush, but with Aki confronting her for the place in Yori's heart, she never would have expected the chance for the status quo to come crashing down all at once. Aki admitted to being in love with Yori for a while now, saying Yori is quite dense when it comes to love, but she was so surprised to see her now falling head over heels for someone. Himari reasonably asked if Aki ever asked Yori out, but she didn't. She was just fine getting to be by Yori's side. She was even rooting for Himari and Yori to work out. But when she heard Himari was holding off on giving her answer, Aki's stomach began turning in knots. She knows Himari is probably not confident in her feelings, but that just means even if Yori waits, there's a chance she'll get rejected anyways. In Aki's mind, that'd be really cruel. Himari tries to tell Aki that she wants to eventually fall in love, but Aki cuts her off, saying eventually isn't good enough. Yori can't wait forever, especially with her being a third year. She'll be graduating a year from now. Himari scrunched up her skirt, acknowledging the truth in Aki's words, even learning Yori had been feeling so down lately. Aki really wanted things to work out for Yori and Himari, But if things keep staying in limbo like this, she would rather make Yori happy herself. Miki suddenly made it back, apologizing for the long call she had with her club. So, Aki made her excuse to head back to her room. Miki then had some of the pound cake and sparkled in the deliciousness of the treat, all while Himari sat bearing the weight of Aki's words. She questioned herself on the way home, wondering if waiting to give Yori the answer she deserved was even the right thing to do. She wondered if Yori and Aki started going out, would it be the end of her hanging out with Yori? She lied depressed in bed, acknowledging she didn't want that. On another day in the cooking club, the treats tasted not so good. Satomiya thinks it's because Himari had been spacing out this whole time. She can even tell it must be romantic troubles, mostly because it was written all over Himari's face. Satomiya hears Himari's entire situation out, learning Himari wants to fall in love so she can date Yori. But now, there's a weight on her heart because she doesn't want Yori to wait around forever. She doesn't know if she'll fall in love with Yori or when. The more she thinks about it, the less sure she feels. She's at a total loss now. Satomiya found this to be surprising, since she had just assumed Himari had been smitten the entire time. However, Himari panicked, saying she hadn't thought about wanting to hug or kiss Yori yet. Satomiya brought up a counterpoint, saying that's not all there is to love, although it certainly is part of it. She herself thinks about wanting to cook for the person she loves every day. After all, don't they say cooking can be an expression of love? When you cook for someone, you invest your time and effort into it because you want the person you're feeding to enjoy it. So, Satomiya asks who Himari wants to cook for, and the only person Himari could think of was Yori. Hearing that, Satomiya reassured her that she wouldn't have to worry. Everyone has their own definitions for what it means to love someone, and for Satomiya, love is something that lies just down the road from wanting to cook for them. She then pats Himari for being such a good girl. She's really putting in a heartfelt effort. Leaving the cooking club, Himari knows she still doesn't fully understand what love means, and there's still plenty of stuff in regards to it that she's worried about. But maybe it's okay for her to trust how she feels now. Maybe it's okay for her to care about Yori. As she utters the words, "I miss her," Yori appears to greet Himari. Talking to Himari up close, Yori realizes she got so excited, she now has no idea what to say next. Should she suggest the two walk home together? But lucky for her, Himari actually suggests what she was thinking. On their walk home, Himari brought up the tarts she screwed up in the cooking club. Yori wanted to see it and bit the tart while holding onto Himari's hand. Ooh, this makes Himari flustered. But Yori says it's too salty, breaking Himari's heart a little. No worries though, Yori is happy to eat anything Himari makes. So Himari swears next time she'll actually make something good. She offers to make anything Yori requests. And it seems Yori wants a cookie shaped like a cat. Himari then giggles, because hearing this made her think of how cute Yori is. Then suddenly, Satomiya called out to Himari from afar, and Yori realized this must be the girl from the cooking club. Himari tries to walk forward, but Yori immediately pulls her back. Now realizing how awkward this must be though, Yori apologizes. Satomiya is completely out of breath, but she wanted to bring Himari's phone that she forgot in the club room. Himari thanks her, of course, but then Satomiya asks if Yori was the girl Himari was talking about, to which Himari acknowledges. She then greets Yori and takes off. At a crosswalk, Himari asks what that grabbing just now was all about. Yori feels this is gonna sound really dumb, but admits there was a part of herself that didn't want Himari to run over to another girl, and before she knew it, her hand just moved on its own, and this only made Himari think of her as more cute. Yori then asked what Himari said about her, and Himari straight up says she asked for advice on how to handle Yori, making Yori wonder if she's been a nuisance. But of course, that's not it. Himari talks about how she felt awful for making Yori wait for her, and when Yori asks why Himari felt that way, she doesn't bring up the conversation she had with Aki that caused all of this. Yori then admitted she definitely got anxious sometimes. After all, they don't get to see each other as often as before she joined the band. Himari had also been trying new things and made a new friend. She sometimes worries that someone else would steal Himari away from her, which shocked Himari because she thought there's no way that'd happen. However, Yori comforted Himari, telling her she didn't need to get in her head so much. She's really happy that Himari is giving her answer such careful thought. Hearing Himari was concerned that Yori would be graduating next year, Yori realized Himari felt really guilty about all this. So, she suggested Himari give her answer after the light music club concert. Himari is still concerned she may not have the answer by then, but Yori is sure she'll give a performance that'll sweep her off her feet. And with that, Himari was now really looking forward to the concert. She now feels like everything's going to be okay. She wants to learn more and more about Yori leading up to the concert, and suggests they walk home together more often on days their schedules line up together. Yori is surprised to hear how bold Himari is being right now. In her room that night, Yori reflected on how she never had any interest in love or romance. She figured there was no way she could ever write a love song, but now, the stuff she loves about Himari, the way she feels about Himari, she wants to share it through music. Hearing the demo Yori made, Mari comments that Yori is more maidenly than she looks. This embarrasses Yori, but Mari actually really likes it. Kaori thinks she must really be in love with that first year, and Aki could tell she'd never win the war with that look on her face. She then praised Yori for being a genius and acknowledged the greatness of the song, named Sunny Spot. During practice, Aki picked up Yori's phone, realizing it was a text from her crush. Himari was wishing Yori good luck with practice, and that she finished baking the cookies Yori had been asking for and wanted to give them to her. Aki then suggested Himari bring the cookies here, and it seems the other two bandmates agreed as well, despite Yori not being so ecstatic. In the bathroom, Aki reflected on how obvious it was that Yori loved Himari. The love was so clear, she herself was hurting. She admits to herself she said horrible things to Himari that one night, and called herself an idiot. Coming out of the bathroom, Himari ran into her. Before Himari could even speak, Aki apologized, surprising her. Aki realized just how scary she must have been, and was truly sorry. Himari was fine with it now though, because it gave her more clarity in how to sort her feelings. She admitted she was going to give her answer to Yori after the concert, which really made Aki pleased. And with that, Aki introduced Himari as Yori's crush to the whole band, which definitely embarrassed Yori. With greetings out of the way, Kaori was ecstatic over how cute and tiny Himari was. She wanted to hug Himari so badly, but Yori started giving off a death stare. With the girls fawning over Himari, Aki assured Yori she had nothing to worry about. But then seeing how close Yori and Aki were with each other, some feelings struck Himari's heart. She wondered what this feeling was. She didn't get it, but it hurt. With Aki discussing Yori's concert outfit, she asked Himari to go on another date with Yori to help her pick it out, something Himari was more than happy to do as she handed Yori the cat-shaped cookies to eat. Elsewhere, Satomiya was sharing her cookies with her friend Hajime. Then, Shiho appeared, and it seems she had gotten some light music concert tickets from Kaori, but she didn't feel she was going to lose to what she believed to be amateurs from Kaori's band. Getting ready for her date with Yori, Himari can't seem to figure out what to wear. Her mother spots her and wonders if her daughter is going on a romantic outing, but Himari nervously assures her it isn't. Walking around to find something nice for Yori to wear at the concert, she can't seem to take her eyes off of Himari. She really thinks her outfit is cute. They make it to their first shop, where Himari pleads for Yori to try this blue dress on, and opening up the changing room, Yori is totally embarrassed. Then, Himari tried on a variety of outfits, putting Yori in heaven, but she can't seem to choose which is best. However, Himari makes her. They then sit down for some ice cream, where Yori admits she would have never gotten back into the band without Himari prompting her. She used to hate the idea of interacting with others, but the more time she spent playing, the more she enjoyed it. Having fun with Himari and wanting to spend more time by her side was what gave Yori the push she needed. Himari shyly deflects taking any credit. She wants to be the one to thank Yori because she herself had never gotten particularly absorbed in anything before. But she admits being with Yori makes her so happy, she's totally able to lose herself. Hearing this makes Yori choke with how forward Himari is being. Yori then opens up about how at the concert, she's going to be playing a brand new song that she wrote. But she's not ready to reveal what it's about to Himari quite yet. Continuing their shopping, Himari prompts Yori to wear these earrings for the concert. However, she wants to be the one to buy them since Yori bought the phone straps the last time. Coming outside of the shop, Himari spends a moment putting a charm on them. So that way, when Yori puts them on, she won't be nervous when performing. Yori accepts the gift, and the two girls laugh in joy. Yori walks Himari all the way home, and then suddenly asks her to close her eyes for a sec, lightly kissing Himari on the cheek. She hopes this isn't their final date before wishing Himari a good night. The day of the concert arrives, and the band wanders together with Himari confident they're gonna take the prize. Aki then suddenly stops to reaffirm if Yori is still getting her answer today from Himari. She then grabs onto Yori and attempts to confess, but she stops herself, saying she's certain everything's gonna be okay. With Himari opening her door for Miki, Miki comments she sure is looking cute today. It's the outfit that Yori picked for her. As the two head out, Himari remarks at how her heart is pounding at the thought of getting to see Yori perform again, and pounding at the idea she might find love hearing her music. She's loving Yori more and more every day, but still isn't sure if it's romantic or not. So she's hoping this concert gives her the answer she needs. Backstage, with the girls ready to perform, Mari comments on how Yori seems less tense than usual. But of course she isn't. It's like someone put a charm on her. We get to the final song of their set, where Yori announces they're playing her song, Sunny Spot, dedicated to that someone. While playing, Yori remembered the first time Himari's smile stole her heart. That's when she really understood what the phrase, love at first sight, meant. She started spending a longer time getting ready in the mornings, and became so obsessed over Himari's responses to the most basic text. But those weren't the only feelings she felt. There was the sadness of saying goodbye. There was the way she fretted when she wasn't with Himari. She began to learn what it meant to be jealous of people. Her feelings would waver back and forth, creating a whole new breadth to her emotions. She could hardly recognize herself or even control her emotions, but she knows she wants to be by Himari's side. She wants to be Himari's one and only. With the song ending, Himari ran through the crowd to tell Yori she found it. Outside, Himari confesses she found out how she really feels. She wants to be with Yori, only Yori, no one else. That's what love means to her, so she embraces Yori and asks her out. With tears on Yori's face, she agrees and the two cry together. Later in the evening, Aki is alone by herself. She knows this was supposed to be the best outcome, but losing really stung. Yori then comes outside for a minor chat, where she says she realizes Aki is her #1 friend. Bruh, she just got ultra friend-zoned. Aki then smiles, accepting her #1 friend placement. Day after day, Yori and Himari spent time together like usual, until Yori stopped playing music to say loving words of affirmation. Himari then responded the same way, but a little more brightly, making Yori lose it. Yori is a little down because she'd been Googling ways to hopefully try to make Himari's heart skip a beat, but this only made Himari giggle. She then suddenly gave Yori a kiss. That way, this meetup wouldn't be just like their usual ones. Meeting with the band later, the girls all agree to play at the school festival concert, and they're all happy that Yori isn't going to leave them behind, even though she bagged Himari. Turning in their applications to the student council, they're surprised to learn they have to audition since there's too many bands that applied this year. Kaori then opens the door to take her leave, but quickly closes it seeing who's on the other side. But of course, Shiho reopens it, wondering why her friend is being so rude. Catching a glance from Yori, Shiho clenches her fists while uttering she feels like she's going to be sick, but she then puts on a fake smile to greet her. Outside, things get awkward, with Shiho snidely asking if Aki is still mad at her for quitting the band. But none of that matters. Shiho tells them her 3-member band is going to crush them. She then walks up to Yori and tells her she'll get there someday, mocking Yori for being satisfied with her lackluster performance. Walking away, Yori asks Aki why there's bad blood with Shiho since they used to be good friends. Aki just clenches her fist, saying she doesn't know, but asks her to drop it. Outside, with Yori meeting up with Himari for their plans, the band came with her. Then Aki came up to Himari to congratulate her. Seeing Aki get playful with Yori makes Himari a little jealous, so she runs up to Yori to get all over her. Continuing their walk, Himari admitted to getting weird pangs of gloom that she now realized herself was in fact jealousy, although Yori still had no idea Aki was into her. At school the next day, Miki teased Himari, saying she and Yori were so cute holding hands yesterday. Even Satomiya was gushing over seeing Yori and Miki leave the venue together after the light concert festival. She wants to hear about all their juicy developments in the future. Himari then asks if there's someone Satomiya likes, and apparently there's always been someone. But Instead of answering who it is, she just tells Himari that the cooking club should join the cultural festival in September. They can sell sweets and show everyone just how fun it is being in the club. Shiho and Hajime then enter to chat with Satomiya. Introducing themselves to Himari, Shiho banters a bit, calling Hajime a giantess, and unexpectedly gets bopped on the head. Satomiya is bandmates with him. She plays the bass, Shiho does guitar and vocals, and Hajime is the drummer. Himari is surprised to hear this, since Satomiya never exactly mentioned it. But more importantly, the reason Shiho and Hajime are here is because for the audition, they need to submit an essay introducing their band. They want Satomiya to do it because they apparently can't write themselves out of a paper bag. So, she accepts. With the bandmates trying to leave, Shiho gets pulled to stay behind because the cooking club needs help preparing for the cultural festival. Shiho doesn't want to, but with enough cute begging from Himari, she's convinced. Shiho then learns Himari's girlfriend is also in a band, making Shiho blush knowing this first year is getting into romance already. However, Satomiya stops Himari from talking about who it is, pulling the conversation back to sweets like cookies and muffins. She probably knows Shiho has beef with Yori. While baking a chocolate cake, Himari complimented Shiho saying her singing was beautiful, even though Himari's girlfriend's voice is her favorite. Shiho invites her to their audition, claiming she'll be Himari's new favorite by the time she's through. While eating, Himari brings up how cool it is to be able to play music. Shiho doesn't think so though. The only reason she is trying to improve is to prove something. But Himari thinks that's cool too, which gets Shiho blushing. Oh, is this another love rival? With their last band practice before auditions tomorrow, Yori wonders if her guitar solo sounded off at all. Aki assures her it's fine, until Mari accidentally brings up Shiho would mock them if they lost. Sensing something was wrong with Aki, Yori decided to invite her over after school. In Yori's room, she asked to be filled in on the situation with Shiho, and the mere mention of her name brought Aki down again. However, Yori's care and concern really cheered Aki up. So she explained Shiho used to be a loner in the light music club. Rumors of her flooded the school about how she'd constantly go in and out of different bands. Seeing her cry after falling out with another group, Aki approached her and invited Shiho to join her band. That's how they formed the SS Girls. But they weren't actually that good, and their musical tastes were all over the place. So, Shiho bickered with them constantly. Even then, Aki really liked Shiho, and she thought they'd all play together forever, until Shiho suddenly quit. Shiho was pissed that her bandmates never seemed to improve, saying that's why they sounded like garbage. However, Aki clapped back saying Shiho's singing was just as bad. That was enough for Shiho to quit. She had been gritting her teeth, wanting to quit the whole time since they weren't serious. And in response to this, Aki slapped her. They had to hold Aki back, but either way, Shiho was done with them. Remembering the falling out with her really brought Aki to tears, but this made Yori feel a lot better, since Shiho left of her own volition, so now she doesn't feel bad taking her place. She really enjoyed playing with all of them. At the audition, there was a large crowd because of the quantity of bands performing for a spot. SS Girls performed wonderfully, which made Shiho clench her fist in frustration, but she commanded her bandmates to perform better than anything they've ever done in practice. They have to prove something. And just watching Shiho's band perform their vicious rock song, Himari could tell they were just on a whole nother level. After learning the results would be posted on Friday, Shiho comes up to Aki to ask what she thought. Aki had no choice but to say they were good. But Shiho was only interested in hearing she was better than Yori, the girl she knew Aki was in love with. Aki tries to play it off, saying, of course, they're best friends. However, Shiho doesn't buy this, telling her she doesn't have to play dumb. Despite all the mind games, there's only one thing Shiho wants from Aki: for her to admit that Yori is nothing compared to her when it comes to technique or singing skill. Aki doesn't feel that way, and this only pisses Shiho off further. She grabs Aki by the collar, telling her her half-heartedness is why she's inferior. But she then lets it go, walking away while uttering the SS Girls will never make it. At home, Aki sits traumatized, wondering how Shiho knew she liked Yori. She feels if she wants to be able to stay by her side as a friend, she has to act normal. She already lost a friend once. Crying in her pillow, she couldn't help but wonder where things went wrong. Friday comes and the band cheers since they made the cut. Souring the mood though, Mari wants to know if Shiho's band made the cut, and based on their last performance, they did with ease. Kaori commented that her band was really good. Aki then sadly responded that maybe their own band was just holding Shiho back. Kaori then tried to assure her that wasn't the case, but Aki snapped, saying they definitely did. She really believed there's no way Shiho could have performed at that level sticking with SS girls. However, Yori then put in her 2 cents, saying Shiho looked a lot happier back when she was performing with their band. The most recent performance was great, but even so, Yori never got the impression that Shiho played with the SS girls under protest. Yori then told Aki to really think about it. Did Shiho really grit her teeth while playing with their band? Which made Aki confront her memories, and Shiho always appeared happy in them. So, the girls have now come to the conclusion that Aki and Shiho needed to talk things out. Coming directly at Shiho, Aki asks why she quit their band, but Shiho responds with the same song and dance, stating she simply quit because she had been wanting to. Aki definitely didn't believe this, so she made a wager. If SS Girls gets more votes than Shiho's band, Lauralee, then she has to be open with the real reason she quit. Elsewhere, Himari is congratulating Yori for making the festival cut with a head pat. Yori is always patting her head, so she wanted to try returning the favor. Continuing their walk, Yori opens up that her band is having a showdown and beef with Lauralee, the same band Satomiya is in. The next day, having lunch with Miki, what Himari learned has been weighing on her mind. She wants Aki, Yori, and Shiho to make up and all be friends, especially knowing Aki and Shiho used to be best friends. On Sunday, they went shopping together to help Miki pick out some new outfits. Miki had to go to cram school for 2 hours, so Himari decided to wait at a nearby restaurant. And would you look at that, Shiho is a server here. Getting her order, Shiho tells Himari not to tell anyone at school she works here. Even Hajime and Satomiya don't know about this. She's been working hard to earn money to pay for studio time and instruments. She's really passionate about her band. She even wants to go professional. This really impresses Himari, especially because Shiho never seems to talk much about herself. Shiho admits it's not that she doesn't want to share things about herself, but more like, why should people care what's going on with other people? That's why she herself never asks about anyone else's life or talks about her own. Himari then bursts out, saying she cares. She wants to know Shiho better. She wants to know what made Shiho want to go pro. Shiho smiled, never having been badgered so much to talk about herself. She then explained that a long time ago, she used to play violin, and at her recitals, she always played at her best. Then one day, she found a girl named Kyo who was sad she had lost her stuffed animal. Shiho found it somehow on a tree, and after learning the 2 of them were both violin players, they became friends and even attended the same school. During their recital, Shiho's heart broke a little. Learning the thing she was best at, Kyo happened to be even much better. Kyo tried to comfort her, but Shiho just pushed her away, and that was the last time the 2 spoke to each other. From that point, Shiho practiced like her life depended on it, but it was never enough. She felt like she had nothing, so eventually she gave up on the violin. But she knew she had to do something. She couldn't live her life empty and musicless. Knowing Kyo had always wanted to play the electric guitar, but her father wouldn't let her, Shiho then took it up, to prove to her old friend she was better. Man, Shiho definitely got issues. Subscribe to my channel for more. Also, watch this next video. It's me, ComfyTea. I'll see you all in the next one.